Brace yourselves, the average UK household spends a staggering £1,289 a year on energy bills. That's a significant chunk of income, wouldn't you agree? It's a sobering truth that many of us are all too familiar with. Energy costs in the United Kingdom have been on an upward trajectory for years. The reasons are multifaceted, ranging from inflation to increasing network costs to the rise in wholesale energy prices. But whatever the reasons, the impact on the average UK resident is palpable. Imagine for a moment the middle-class family, the backbone of our society. They're not just grappling with energy costs. There's the mortgage, car payments, groceries, and let's not forget those unexpected expenses that always seem to pop up at the most inconvenient times. The escalating energy costs are an added burden on their already stretched budgets. Now let's consider the low-income households. For them, the situation is even more dire. Often they are forced to make tough decisions between heating their homes adequately during the bitter winter months or putting food on the table. Energy poverty is a harsh reality for a significant number of UK residents. Yet, amid this grim picture, there is a glimmer of hope. A hope that lies in becoming more energy efficient and smart about our energy consumption. What if I told you that with a few clever tricks and changes in your energy usage habits, you could significantly reduce these costs? Yes, my friends, it is possible. And no, it doesn't involve sitting in the dark or giving up on your favorite gadgets. It's about making smart, informed choices and understanding how energy is consumed in our homes. But what if there was a way to reduce these costs significantly? Stick around to find out. Meet the Smiths, a UK household that managed to slash their energy bills by a whopping 40%. The Smiths, a typical family of four living in a semi-detached house in Manchester, were just like any other family in the UK. They were constantly shocked by the high cost of their energy bills. Their energy consumption habits were, by and large, unremarkable. They used heating in the winter, kept their appliances running, and enjoyed long hot showers. However, they were unaware of how these everyday habits were significantly impacting their energy bills. The Smiths were inadvertently squandering energy in ways they hadn't considered. For instance, they left lights on in empty rooms, their appliances were always on standby mode, and they often overused their heating system even when they weren't at home. They didn't realize that these harmless habits were the very reason their bills were skyrocketing. But the Smiths didn't just sit back and accept these high costs. Instead, they took a proactive approach. They started by analyzing their energy consumption habits, identifying the areas where they were using more energy than necessary. They then sought advice on how to reduce their energy usage in these areas without compromising their comfort or lifestyle. They made simple changes like switching off lights when not in use, reducing their heating when they were out, and using energy-efficient appliances. They also embraced some larger changes, such as insulating their home to reduce heat loss. These changes didn't happen overnight, but over time they became a part of the Smiths' daily routine. The result? A significant reduction in their energy bills. In fact, they managed to cut their energy costs by an impressive 40%, simply by being more mindful of their energy consumption and making a few strategic changes. The Smiths transformed their energy consumption habits, and so can you. Let's delve into how they accomplished this. The Smiths started their journey to lower bills by tackling heating and insulation. Heating, as most of us know, is a significant contributor to our energy costs, especially during the frosty winter months. But what if I told you that a few small changes could lead to substantial savings? Firstly, the Smiths adjusted their heating habits. They started by turning down their thermostat by a single degree. Now that might not sound like much, but over the course of a year, this minor tweak can save a surprising amount of energy and, by extension, money. They also embraced the use of layers and blankets rather than cranking up the heat. After all, it's far more efficient to warm oneself than an entire house. And when they did need to heat their home, they made sure to only heat the rooms they were using. Next, the Smiths took a look at their insulation. It's an often overlooked aspect of energy efficiency, but poor insulation can lead to a lot of wasted heat. They decided to invest in loft insulation, which can save a substantial amount over a year. They also used draft excluders on their doors and windows to keep the cold air out and the warm air in. As an added bonus, these changes made their home far more comfortable. No more chilly drafts, no more overheating from a cranked-up thermostat. Instead, they enjoyed a cozy, warm home with a much smaller energy bill. And the results? Well, they were astonishing. By simply changing their heating habits and improving insulation, the Smiths saw a significant reduction in their energy costs. It just goes to show that a few simple changes can have a profound impact. So why not follow in the Smiths' footsteps and start your own energy-saving journey today? Next, the Smiths turned their attention to their appliances and lighting. Did you know that a large chunk of your energy bills can be attributed to the appliances you use daily and the lighting in your home? The Smiths didn't. However, once they realized this, they started making small changes that eventually led to significant savings. Firstly, they began to fully utilize their appliances' energy-saving settings. For instance, they started using their washing machine on a lower temperature setting. It's a well-known fact that 90% of a washing machine's energy expenditure is spent on heating the water. So using a cooler wash cycle can make a remarkable difference. Next, the Smiths started to be more mindful of their fridge and freezer settings. By ensuring their fridge was set between 3 and 5 degrees Celsius and their freezer was set at -18 degrees Celsius, they could optimize energy use and still keep their food perfectly chilled. When it came to their lighting, the Smiths made the switch to LED bulbs, which use up to 80% less energy than traditional incandescent bulbs. And not only that, but LED bulbs also last up to 25 times longer, resulting in fewer replacements and additional savings. The Smiths also started to be more conscious about turning off lights when leaving a room, and they even installed timers on certain lights to ensure they weren't left on unnecessarily. This simple habit significantly reduced their energy consumption. But what about appliances that are not in use? The Smiths learned that appliances, even when switched off, can still consume energy if they're plugged in. So they made it a habit to unplug appliances when they weren't in use. These changes might seem small, but when added up, they led to a considerable reduction in the Smiths' energy bills. The Smiths' experience shows that being mindful of how we use our appliances and lighting can lead to significant savings. Small changes to how they used appliances and lighting led to big savings for the Smiths, but they didn't stop there. Lastly, the Smiths focused on their water usage and even considered solar power. Water, the life-giving resource we often take for granted, can be a significant drain on our energy bills if not managed properly. The Smiths took simple yet effective steps to minimize their water use. They started taking shorter showers, reducing their time under the water from 10 to 5 minutes. This alone can save up to 50 liters of water per shower. They also fixed any leaky faucets promptly, preventing unnecessary water wastage. The Smiths didn't stop at just conserving water. They also looked at how they could heat their water more efficiently. They installed a water-efficient shower head and an insulating jacket on their hot water tank to minimize heat loss. These changes lightened the load on their boiler, thereby reducing the amount of energy needed to heat water. But the Smiths didn't stop there. They also turned their gaze skywards to the sun. They realized that even in the UK, where the sun may not always be shining brightly, solar power could still be a viable option. By investing in solar panels, they could harness the sun's energy to generate electricity and heat their water. Solar panels may require a substantial initial investment, but the long-term savings can be significant. Plus, the UK government offers incentives to homeowners who generate their own electricity, making solar panels an even more attractive option. The Smiths found that, over time, their solar panels started paying for themselves. The panels reduced their reliance on the grid, and on sunny days, they even managed to feed excess electricity back into the grid, further offsetting their costs. Through a combination of mindful water use and solar power, the Smiths were able to make a significant dent in their energy bills. Now it's your turn to make these changes and see the savings roll in.